Gotta keep going, yeah, gotta keep pushing, gotta keep breathing, yeah, gotta keep working, yeah, this for the moment, start with a million, and I want my mansion.
Call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Busy over the weekend while researchers announce a newly discovered ancient species of penguins. We'll talk a little bit about that. President Joe Biden misunderstands the basic macroeconomics. We can talk about that once we get into the swamp, if we get to decide to get swampy. Machine Gun Kelly gets electrocuted and Holly Berry takes a tumble. We can talk a little bit about that when we get into showbiz. And then Bryan Cranston wants to play Willie Nelson, and George Clooney is not returning to the Cape Crusader, which I don't think anybody really wanted that. But I mean, I guess it's good to talk about. For sure. Yeah, for sure. For Shizzo, yeah, something like that. I think you're supposed to say something like that. It goes something like that. So anyways, if you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process. By doing this, all you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. They'll get you into the caller holler. By the way, no one said anything, and I did not hear it until post-event. But if you were on the video processor last week, on Friday when Jim Posel called in, I did not realize that there was an echo chamber storm going on. But if you were on the radio, no idea that occurred. So sorry if you had to go through that structure, because that was not fun. I know it wasn't fun. But hopefully we can get you clear, moving and clear relatively quick here. So just think about that as I hit my face on the microphone. That's when you know you have it too close. Anyways, with that being said, we are a show that talks about safety in the news and safety, and we'll get all that stuff moving and grooving for you. We bring in some professional broadcasters. They talk about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the multiverse, and then I come back and I talk a little bit about what the hell's going on. That is for sure. A couple things real quick before I get too far away into it. I want to bring this up. If you are a Jay Allen Show listener, not the Jay Allen in the Morning Show, but just the actual safety podcast / radio show that we do, well, I got something pretty exciting coming up for you. If you want to come and take a hangout, I have this lovely gentleman coming out tomorrow that you can take a listen to on the show. It is Brandon Wiseman from Truck Safe and also Truck Safe Live. Yeah, it's a very interesting show that they talk about the world of transportation in it, and Brandon Wiseman delivers in a format that I will tell you is extremely unique, and his approach is extremely unique. And I think that if you're in the trucking industry, you're not going to want to miss this one. That's one of those things that I take a look at, and I was very excited about actually having him on the show. Want you to take a listen. It comes out tomorrow at noon Eastern time on your favorite podcast catcher, or if you're a Safety FM Plus member, the video version of the actual recording is available on Safety FM Plus right now. Yeah, you can go get it right now. And I guess as we are talking about this, should we talk about this now? I guess we could talk about it now. We got the event coming up, Worlds Collide. Sam Goodman, Brent Sutton, and yours truly taking place in Phoenix, Arizona. If you want to take a little gander there, there is no doubt that you can come hang out and be with us in Arizona. And you're probably sitting here going, but hold on, weren't you just promoting an event that's taking place in Santa Fe, New Mexico? Yeah, that's still going on too, just in case. But it is sold outie. Yeah, you can't get in. There is no more tickets. Now, for this one, if you're interested, you can come out. And we are still doing early bird. Yeah, early bird. Don't be caught down without it. You can go to safetyfm.io for more information. And if you are watching on the screener, there is a QR code to get you access to the tickets immediately. Just a little FYI action of things that are going on inside of that world. So there you go. Anyways, I think I've rambled on long enough. I think it is time to bring in the true pros here, and that is the pro broadcasters that will come in, let you know exactly what is going on with the world of the news, because I think that that's going to be important as we are talking. I mean, how else would you look at it? and then we can go from there. What do you think? Does that sound like a plan for a showy for you? Because I don't see how we would do it any other way. Of course, now my computer's deciding to say, no, we will do things in my timeline. So I guess that's the way to take a look at it. Anyways, let's bring you the news because I think that that's going to be important as we are talking. I'm starting to wonder, is our computer system saying, hey, no, it's still I'm still doing the Super Bowl stuff. I mean, I'm kind of doing the Super Bowl hangover. I mean, you can do that if you want, but it kind of makes it weird for me in regards to me trying to do some other things. Anyways, with that being said, let's get you into the news right now because that's going to be important.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. The Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. They came back from being down 10 points to beat the Philadelphia Eagles 38-35 Sunday night in Arizona, notching their second title since 2020. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes took home Super Bowl MVP honors for the second time in his career. He threw for 3 touchdowns despite an apparent injury. Eagles signal caller Jalen Hurts scored 3 rushing touchdowns in the loss, tying a Super Bowl record. Congressman Michael McCaul says the suspected Chinese spy balloon shot down off the coast of South Carolina earlier this month did a lot of damage.
It was done with provocation to gather intelligence data and collect intelligence on our 3 major nuclear sites in this country.
Appearing on CBS Face the Nation, the Texas Republican disputed claims by defense and intelligence officials that the U.S. was able to limit the amount of information the balloon was able to collect. He went on to say that a balloon can see a lot more on the ground than a satellite. Representative McCall's comments came after 2 more high-altitude objects were shot down over Alaska and Canada, and before the U.S. military shot down another unidentified object over Lake Huron on Sunday. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley reportedly just days away from launching a run for the White House. Scott Carr has more.
It's expected Haley will formally declare her candidacy at an event in Charleston this Wednesday. The Republican who led South Carolina as governor from 2011 to 2017 teased last week a big announcement slated for February 15th. Haley will be the second Republican to announce after former President Trump himself announced he would be running for a 3rd time last year. I'm Scott Carr.
And Valentine's Day will be bittersweet for schools in Broward County, Florida. The district will observe what's billed as a day of service and love 5 years after the school shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School that left 17 dead and 17 injured. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
From Future News in Washington, I'm Jagruti Dave. More than 33,000 people have lost their lives in Turkey and Syria, and millions of people have been left without a home in freezing weather conditions following last week's earthquake. The United States military has brought down a 4th flying object over Lake Huron in Michigan near the US-Canada border. And thousands of runners in Hong Kong have been celebrating the return of the territory's International Road Marathon.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
One Republican congressman is blaming Democrats for trying to scare seniors by suggesting his party is going to cut funding to Medicare and Social Security.
These are important programs to everyone. There's bipartisan support for Social Security and Medicare. If anything, we need to shore those programs up. They're running out of money.
Appearing on ABC's This Week, Kentucky Representative James Comer went on to say that his party is in the midst of a robust debate and will come forward with a plan. The rumor surfaced as the 2 parties face off over the debt limit, which must be raised by June to avoid a government shutdown. Republicans are insisting on curtailing spending before cutting a deal, while Democrats want the ceiling raised without provisions. The death toll from last week's earthquake in Turkey and Syria has surpassed 34,000. The Syrian civil defense volunteer organization called White Helmets has ended rescue operations in the rebel-controlled northwest region of the country. An Israeli search and rescue group has left Turkey due to what it's calling a significant security threat. But rescue efforts have also produced some success stories, such as a 10-year-old girl being rescued after 147 hours trapped under rubble. The nation is buzzing after Rihanna's performance during halftime of Super Bowl 57 in Arizona.
I don't know if you could take it. No, you want to see me naked, naked, naked. I want to be a baby, baby, baby.
She took the stage Sunday for her first live performance in 5 years. Rihanna came out floating above the field on a suspended platform while she sang some of her greatest hits like Wild Thoughts, Work, and Diamonds. The Grammy Award-winning artist was also surrounded by an enormous crew of backup dancers who were decked out in white puffer tracksuits. Her performance also stirred up rumors she was pregnant with her second child, which were later confirmed. And New York City's COVID-19 vaccine mandate for municipal workers is officially over. The mandate that just ended Friday led to about a 96% vaccination rate. However, it also resulted in about 1,700 workers getting fired for refusing the shot and numerous lawsuits. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at MobileMobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to MobileMobile.io. That's MobileMobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Radio. USA, Canada, UK.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. 18 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and doing all the fun stuff that you could possibly do on a Monday and still remain legal. Yeah, keep it that way. So let's talk real quick about what the hell is going on according to the shit list, because it is a list that is full of a lot of shit. So let's talk about it in that fashion. So UFO enthusiasts had a wild weekend after the destruction of the Chinese spy balloon that traveled across the United States. Friday reports the surface of the UFO flying over Alaska, likely a Chinese balloon, that the United States had shot down. Saturday, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau out of Canada reported that he authorized a similar shoot down over the weekend of their territory by an American fighter jet. Canada Defense Minister described it as a small cylindrical object of an altitude of 40,000 feet. Recovery efforts were underway Saturday into Sunday to get a closer look. Later on Saturday, air traffic was shut down over parts of Montana to investigate a similar balloon, but called off the search amid the darkness. And then Sunday, the FAA shut down air traffic control over Wisconsin Dores Peninsula for over an hour on Sunday morning. No explanation for why the shutdown has been provided. Later, Canada shut down air traffic over Lake Huron, and something was shot over the sky. Early reports indicate that it was the same object spotted previously over Montana. Also on Sunday, the China Global Times newspaper said that the CCP officials English language news site reported that early Sunday morning that the UFO was spotted over Shandong Province and eastern China, and efforts were underway to shoot it down. Worth noting, the Pentagon said that during the Sunday evening briefing and that all the shoot downs objects were balloons. But there was obviously not yet evidence that they were spying tools by the Chinese Communist Party. So, I mean, let's just talk about this, because you know that people are going to be out there today and, over the weekend going, there was more, there was this other stuff that was taking place. And listen, I don't know. That's how conspiracies start. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's false. I don't know if it's whatever. But it's just stuff that's readily available there. If you want to take a look, what do you think? Maybe that's going to be the important portion.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, the confirmed death toll of Turkey now exceeds 33,000 lives following last week's catastrophic earthquake that destroyed dozens of buildings. Amid the chaos, Turkish officials have already begun to arrest contractors who built the collapsed building, suggesting they did not properly follow safe construction practices. So hold on. 33,000 people died. You had a severe magnitude, what was it, like a 7.8 magnitude earthquake, and now you're saying that it has to do with the building structure wasn't proper? I don't know. That sounds a little off to me. I mean, a 7.8 is nothing to chuckle at, as you can already tell. So what do you think about this? How does that make you feel when you hear that? Gets interesting right away, I would imagine. Anyway, the Financial Times reports that the Facebook's parent company Meta is planning another round of layoffs after sending an estimated 11,000 employees packing last November. The company has not yet finalized the team budgets for the year across multiple divisions. The company also says that because of them owning the messaging app WhatsApp and photo sharing Instagram, that things could really get interesting. Mark Zuckerberg has said that 2023 will be the year of efficiency for the company, which ballooned in size over the pandemic. So, I mean, I don't know. I keep on looking at this. There's a lot of layoffs going on inside of the tech sector. I mean, you've noticed this. And then you have bots that are coming out and all this kind of stuff. Maybe it's a correlation of both things, or maybe it's just a conspiracy.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, researchers in New Zealand believe that they have identified the largest penguin species to have ever lived. In a report published by the Journal of Paleontology, a study suggests that fossils of such animals are found on New Zealand's South Island in 2016 belong to the penguins that weighed over 340 pounds. Yeah, I did say 340 pounds. By contrast, a modern emperor penguin typically maxes out about 100 pounds. The new species lived there for about 59 million years. That's 5 to 10 million years after the extinction, even that it killed off the dinosaurs. So there you go. Okay, let's see what else. A 1908 model Harley-Davidson motorcycle sold for auction for nearly $1 million at the end of January, making it the most expensive motorcycle ever auctioned off. It sold online to an unidentified buyer for $935,000. The Strap Tank model is the only one of 12 of its kind that's left in the world, named for the nickel strap that held the oil and fuel tank in place. So there you go. Get nickel back, now you get nickel strap. So there you go, some stuff going on there. Anyways, let's talk about the charts and what happened over the weekend. If you took a look-see at the box office, so let's talk about this. At number 10 was Plane with $1.2 million. At number 9 was Megan with $2.4 million. Missing with $2.6 million. At number 7, A Man Called Otto with $2.62 million. At number 6, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, $5.5 million. At number 5, Knock at the Cabin, $5.61 million. That was down from number 1 from last week. 80s for Brady's at number 6, was $6 million, but it was at number 4. At number 3 was Titanic, the re-release version, $6.4 million. At number 2, Avatar, The Way of the Water with $6.8 million. And, well, we kind of know what some people were doing while everybody else was watching the Super Bowl. Magic Mike, the number 1 spot, $8.2 million. There you go. Don't know. There you go. Do whatever you want. So a lot of stuff going on there as we are talking. What else do we have going on? What else? I guess we should bring some John Smalls in here real quick. It is 25 minutes past the top of the hour. And talk about what the hell's going on in the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, February 13th, 2023. Equity markets tried to rebound Friday, but the action was more mixed than not. Investors are scooping up bargains where they can find them, but this will not lead to a sustained uptrend. The outlook for earnings continues to deteriorate, and that is a weight the market cannot bear. The risk now is not just that the S&P 500 stocks will move down to retest the 2022's low, but might move lower. Next week will be a market mover for sure. Not only is it a big week for earnings, but the CPI data is also due. The CPI is expected to show further cooling, but again, not enough to keep the FOMC from hiking interest rates at least 2 or 3 more times. The risk here is that consumer level inflation will run flat or even accelerate from the previous month and confirm the need for more aggressive action from the Fed. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the information right there. Let me tell you a little bit of what I found. The Dow lost about 169 points to close at 33,869 on Friday. The S&P added in this case about 8 points to close at 4,090, while the NASDAQ lost about 71 points to close at 11,718. West Texas Intermediate closed at $79 on Friday. Brent crude was at 86. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.41 on Sunday. Bitcoin was trading just shy of $22,000 on Sunday. There was more than 2,420 flights delayed within and into and out of the United States on Sunday, and about 67 cancellations. What else? Tuesday night Mega Million drawing will be for $67 million jackpot or $35.1 million cash payout. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $45 million jackpot or $23.7 million cash payout. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of that equation as we are talking, because I think that that's going to be important as those things do go on. Let's continue talking a little bit about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs is making it clear that she blames the federal government for the border crisis. Take a listen to this.
Appearing on Fox News Sunday, the first-term Democrat said everyone in Washington shares the blame for the border crisis.
This is an issue the can has been kicked down the road for decades by both parties in Washington.
Hobbs said solving the border crisis would bolster the national economy and help bring down inflation. On the local level, Hobbs defended taking a more humane approach to the migrant surge at the southern border. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey, for the information as we are talking. Should we talk about this? Yeah, let's talk about it. McDonald's will have a celebrity couple bagged Valentine's meal for two this week. Trey Thomas has more.
The fast food chain used the Super Bowl to announce its special Cardi B and Offset meal that will be available starting Tuesday. It features Cardi B's favorites of a cheeseburger with barbecue sauce and a large Coke. It also comes with Offset's choices of a quarter pounder with cheese and a large high-C orange lava burst, along with large fries and an apple pie. I'm Trey Thomas.
Sounds very healthy choices, I might add, as well. Okay, so there you go. If you want to Cardi B it up, you got it on Tuesday. You can start pulling that move off if you're so inclined to do so. Anyways, Ford Motor Company will announce plans to build $3.5 billion electric vehicle battery factory at what is known as the Marshall Mega Site project in Marshall, Michigan today. IAH Marquardt auto analyst Mike Wall says the investment will be transformational to the area.
In terms of this scale and size from a plant perspective, I mean, it's a big deal, a very big deal. It's this kind of investment. They don't just grow on trees. So these are something we need to court.
The automaker is partnering up with CATL, a Chinese company, but will be the anchor investment. The plan has been proposed in Virginia, but the state's governor rejected it due to CATL's suspected ties to the Chinese Communist Party. IAH Marquardt auto analysis Mike Wall says the Ford partnership with China's CATL was what prevented an electric vehicle battery plant from being located in Virginia.
Ford is going to be the anchor of this investment. So I get the concerns around a Chinese supplier in that sense. But by the same token, with what Ford's doing here, it is clearly a Ford investment.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens here in the very near future. I mean, I guess we'll all be on the lookout of what the hell's going on. There is no doubt about that. Let's talk about this real quick because, some people are going to want to talk about this because it was a big deal yesterday. Star-studded Super Bowl ads were the theme of the big game. Pete Davidson is bringing leftovers to life with Hellman's John Hamm and Brie Larson.
I'm going to eat you guys. You guys are really delicious. It's weird.
Included this year in the lineup were comic king Ben Stiller and Steve Martin starting in twin ads for Pepsi Zero Sugar. Will Ferrell teamed up with General Motors and Netflix for a campaign for car brand electric vehicles. Amy Schumer erased her exes from Google Pixel Super Bowl ad. Elton John, Jack Harlow, and Missy Elliott got cut up in the Doritos love triangle. And Paul Rudd reprises his role as Ant-Man to promote Heineken non-alcoholic beer. This year's Fox charged about $7 million for 30 seconds. And let's go into this real quick. The comic king Ben Stiller and Steve Martin star in the pair of ad for Pepsi. Take a listen.
Wow, that's really good. Or was I just acting? Only way to know is to try it for yourself.
So I'm going to tell you, I have quite a few of the ads. We're not going to play them all because there's just no way that I'm going to run ads for the sake of running ads because I know I'm bored sometimes in life, but I sure as shit ain't that bored. That's for sure. Anyways, with that being said, currently 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and do it in this fashion. And what will that be? Well, let's go ahead and do the main story right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Wow, that was a pretty interesting one. As things are going in the equation, it's telling me to pick a source and move some other stuff. That's interesting. Okay, cool. So anyways, with this being said, let's start talking right away. Let's start doing some things that might be important to our convo. Let's do some stuff that would not be the norm, would not be the thing that we do. Let's talk about difficult times. I think sometimes we do talk about difficult times, or maybe we don't talk about difficult times. What do we talk about? Maybe is the other thing to give some ideas to. So how would I go through this today? How would I cover this information with you in regards of what I'm trying to say? Let's slow down for a moment. But you know that when you're in a work environment and things are going good, they're really good, and you kind of love the work that you do. You know what I'm talking about there? And it does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's something that we have to think about. because there are people that are out there that love what they do for work. I mean, it's just kind of the way that it goes. And there is another thing that happens as well, where people will be at a job that is, we'll say, quote unquote, not the greatest job. And there will be some aspects of that job that they don't love. And listen, you can apply this to a job. You can apply this to a relationship. You can even apply this to the place that you live. There might not be some things there that you love, but they are quote unquote passable. They are quote unquote livable. They're quote unquote manageable. I mean, think about this for a moment. There's so many different aspects of things that we do sometimes in our life. We'll see something that's, let's say, for instance, you have a hole in your drywall and it's a minor hole. Well, it's passable. I'm not going to do anything yet. But then all of a sudden, that thing was the size of a dime. Now, all of a sudden, you've realized that over the last bit of a period of time, it is the size of a softball. So at the point that it was the size of a dime, you had no idea of should you fix it or not because it wasn't that important. But when it got to the point that it was so big that it was the size of a softball, all of a sudden, now this is a thing that you need to correct quickly. You need to correct this soon because you just can't live with it. And it's interesting that sometimes things have to get worse before you try to make them better. Think about it for a moment. This applies to so many different things in our lifetime. And I'm always amazed when I get to talk to people on how much this applies to what they do for work. You will sit in a not so great work environment because the money is decent. And listen, don't even get me started with, well, I have to work and I have to make money and I have to support my kids. I get that. I understand all of that stuff. I'm not speaking against that. But we will go through crappy environments to be able to continue to move forward as long as, it doesn't get too crappy. And it becomes a weird thing because why is it that it has to get significantly worse before we will start considering other things? Now, I will tell you, if you were to ever look this up, and if you were to ever try to look at what some people would call this, there is a term that is used, and I guess I'm going to have to look down to make sure that I quote it 100 because I never want to tell you the thing that's improper. But people call this region beta paradox. And you can look online, there's all kinds of information about it on why things will have to get worse before you will attempt to improve them. But if they're minute same issue, you won't attempt to change it. Now, listen, when I say you, that implies me as well. I should say us, just to make sure that we're using the lingo of the bingo. But man, why is it that things have to get worse sometimes before we'll just decide to take a stand for ourselves? Something to think about today as you are out there. And here's my question. Do you do the work that you love? And if not, will it have to get worse before you want to change it?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with Home Title Lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
What is dedication?
I am the father of a 9-year-old little girl and a 6-year-old little boy, and I find fatherhood both relentlessly challenging and relentlessly rewarding. My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much, from the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night, and every moment in between. It really is so special, and boy, is it exhausting. One thing that I fear about being a parent is the future for my children. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings. But I'm also hopeful that the future holds a more inclusive and compassionate world for them.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
In order to save the planet from cow farts, why doesn't someone just invent really large Gas X pills?
God, what's that awful stench? Radio.
As your safety training old, stale, and hacky, safety trainers still preaching a warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Polzel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Okay, there you go. This still is the Rated R Safety Show, coming across on Safety FM and on RadioBig.fm. This song right here is called Action. This is by God Mode. You can give it a little stream if you want. on Apple Music and on Spotify. Little YouTube music action as well. By the way, I always think YouTube music is so underrated, and I love it so much. But then again, I use quite a few of these different music services. Anyway, so thanks to God Mode for allowing us to play this song right here. It's a goody one. So there you go. Thanks again to God Mode for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. That's for sure. Wow, I did not try to blow your eardrums off on purpose. That was not my intent there, but it definitely did seem to come across that way. Anyways, with that being said, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you inside of my lifetime, and that's about my friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved one, and best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. You can text the word TALK to 988, or you can call 988. Listen, we all go through struggles from time to time, and there are people that are out there that can assist you and they can help you. All you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That will get everything moving and grooving for you. I'm going to tell you, listen, I understand the struggle is real. There is no doubt about that. All you have to do is go over there. There will be someone to talk to immediately. All you have to do is go to the website, give a phone call, shoot a text. One or the other. They'll get everything going. 988lifeline.org. Let's get into some news real quick in regards of what else is going on coming off of the sheets, coming off of it being Monday Fun Day. Yeah, take a listen to that. Some genius somewhere decided that today is football hangover day, but whether you're still feeling the effects of, well, the number one day for chicken wings and beer consumption or not, you should still probably head into work. Why? Well, a couple of reasons. For one, a new survey found that Mondays are the most productive day of the week. For another, almost half, 46% of hybrid workers, those who work from home part-time, prefer to start their week with their company headquarters compared to 20% who favor working from home on Mondays. Oh, and if you find Mondays difficult, please know a thing that will get it better. A separate OnePoll survey found that most stressful time of the day is 7:23. This could be the result of a number of things, including stuck in traffic, spilling something on your clothes, dropping something, or waking up late. Amateurs, for me, getting stuck in traffic, spilling something, and sleeping is all just stress foreplay for the crap that probably come later into the day, just to think about. And we still want to show up for work after that. I mean, that's a whole other thing. And as you know, as you and I hang out at 7:23, I think we're just coming back normally from commercial. I mean, that's just kind of the way that it goes. I mean, I could be wrong, but it seems like that would be around the time that we are. Or we're in the second seg at that particular portion, at least in the Eastern time zone. Just think about it in that fashion.
More sarcasm than Mortal Kombat Beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this because we should probably talk about it. Let's talk about sheets, about dryer sheets. Yeah, let's take a listen to this. Do you still toss in the dryer or sheet every time that you put something in the laundry? Well, it might be time to leave that old habit behind. Some experts say that those sheets are doing more harm than good to your clothes, your dryer, and most importantly, the environment. Patrick Richardson, the laundry guy on Discovery Plus, says that dryer sheets don't actually make your clothes any softer, although you might feel that way due to the fact that the sheets are coated with chemical solutions that transfer to your garments when heated up. The residue builds up over time and can contribute to the clothing and towel smelling musty and stale, even when it's been laundered. The film also builds up in your dryer, which can affect the appliance effectiveness over time and the increase of your utility bill. And what's more is that the sheets themselves become litter and can't be reused and don't decompose easily. Try wool dry balls instead, which are a more sustainable option that can be reused for years. That's great. Instead of being useless and absent-minded when I forget to use them, a steward of the environment. I guess that's one way to look at it. And I quit buying those a long time ago, used them for years before I realized that my clothes just was as dry without them. Yeah, think about that. You know that there's somebody out there legitimately saying that, going, yeah, they were still pretty dry even when I wasn't using this. Anyways, with that being said, let's do this real quick. Let's bring some John Smalls inside of here. Let him tell you about what's going with the Motivation Minute.
Today's Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Valerie. Fred Rogers said, "I'm convinced that when we help our children find healthy ways of dealing with their feelings, ways that don't hurt them or anyone else, we're helping to make our world a safer, better place." I love this. Mr. Rogers was quite the guy. I've not yet watched the recent film about him, but I've been told it's quite good. But let's get back to his quote. Think about what a better world we would all enjoy if only every child were taught how to deal with their feelings. And some words every child needs to hear a little more often. I'm proud of you. Were you expecting I love you? That's a good thing too. But let them know you're proud of them too. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlyssaMorgan.com. How often do you take a multivitamin? People who regularly take a multivitamin for at least 20 years have a significant decrease, up to 50%, in cardiovascular episodes, even when adjusting for physical activity, age, smoking status, BMI, family history, and vegetable intake. Micronutrient deficiencies and insufficiencies are widespread. In the U.S., 38% of adults don't get enough vitamin A from foods, 43% don't get enough vitamin C, 75% vitamin E, 44% of calcium, and 48% have inadequate magnesium intake. Vitamin D deficiency is also widespread, but the major source of vitamin D is from the sun, with very little found in foods. For more information on wellness, check out AlyssaMorgan.com.
We're rocking all day at work because we don't give a duck. Autocorrect probably just saved my ass there.
Like I give a flying, you know.
Listen to our host
Of the Rated R Safety Show.
self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Oh, there you go. Some self-imploding on the airwaves is never a bad thing, I would assume. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I just talk about the stuff that happens. So there you go. A lot of stuff still going on inside of this sequence of events as we are hanging out on this marvelous Monday. So what do you have planned for the week? Anything exciting that you want to talk about? It's always a good time to talk about some of the things that are going on inside of the world, because that is important to talk about. Anyways, take a listen to this real quick. Over 40 state attorney generals are weighing in on the landmark lawsuit that seeks to overturn the Food and Drug Administration approval of abortion pills. Protesters took to the streets in Amarillo, Texas Saturday, including Tamika Middleton, managing director of the Women's March.
What I want to do is, one, to again bring that awareness, because in a place like Amarillo, some of these lawsuits can go under the radar, and we won't know that they're happening until they reach the Supreme Court. And we want to make sure that people are paying attention, that we have our eyes on the ball.
The Texas suit was filed in November by the anti-abortion group seeking to overturn the FDA approval of the medication. On Friday, New York Attorney General Letitia James, along with 22 other attorney generals, filed a brief in support of the defense and argued reversing the approval of abortion bills would have a devastating consequences for women in the U.S. Meanwhile, Mississippi Attorney General Lynch Finch led a group of 22 Republican attorneys who filed their own brief claiming the FDA approval is deeply flawed. Mark Lee Dixon, director of Right to Life East Texas, was out in support of, wow, I can't even say that, of the lawsuit.
It's really a picture of worlds colliding, which is a good representation of this case. This is a case where there are some in America that want abortion access and some in America that are against abortion access.
So, I mean, I don't know. What do you think about it? I mean, it's always kind of that weird segment thing Of what to do. It's the illusion of choice is what I call it, because do you have a choice or do you not have a choice? I don't know. What do you think the right call is there? That's a good question to talk about. Anyways, take a listen to this. Senator John Tester says that there's a possibility of a flying object flying over Montana's airspace.
There was an anomaly, and they've investigated. I think it got dark, so they couldn't fully check it out.
Appearing on CBS Face the Nation, the Montana Democrat said that it could be a false alarm. Airspace over the central part of the state was temporarily closed, and NORAD sent military aircrafts to investigate. However, they were unable to find anything. Tester's comments come as two other high-altitude objects were shot down over Alaska and Canada this week. The Montana senator says a similar situation was detected in his state. The object would also likely be shot down if it wasn't too dangerous. NORAD had no update on the situation on Sunday.
There may still be something out there. It may be a false alarm.
Tester says that he doesn't know what really happened.
I'm sure it's being checked out right now.
I'm sure it's being checked out right now. Wow, that sounded sincere. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date, because what else are we going to do? So taking a look around, and I am looking. Back in 2021, former President Donald Trump is acquitted in his second impeachment trial, this time on charges that he fomented the insurrection on January the 6th that happened back in 2021. What else do we have going on? Let's take a look real quick. Some birthdays that are going on today. Randy Moss turns 46. Ian Reed Kessler, 46. Robbie Williams, 49. Kelly Hu, 55. Carolyn Lawrence, 56. Peter Gabriel turned 73. Jerry Springer, yeah, that guy from the Jerry Springer Show, he turned 79 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays. If you're looking at some days of the week to celebrate, I have some of those for you as well. It's National Cheddar Day. International Condom Day. Shouldn't that be tomorrow? I mean, you would think that would be tomorrow. Anyways, it's Kiss Day, National Football Hangover Day, International National Day, Gelatin Day, National Apology Day, World Radio Day. I like that already. Get Different Name Day, National Tarantino Day, National Clean Out Your Computer Day, Employee Legal Awareness Day, and Madly in Love with Me Day. Wow, a Madly in Love with Me Day. There's a day for that? Okay, cool. Good for them. Good for whoever came up with the day to be madly in love with the day of being madly in love. So there you go. Let's talk real quick about, did you know, a team at the University of Iowa say that in a while, many people will see pigeons merely as pests, considering them as unintelligent and inspiring, that the insult bird brain that they found in the cognitive powers are on par with the high-tech artificial intelligence. In experiments, pigeons were given complex tests, given their high level of thinking, such as using logic or reasoning, would not solve. The pigeons turned down the exhaustive trial and error, memorizing enough scenarios to reach nearly 70% similarity to repetitive trial and error approach of AI, where scientists teach computers how to identify patterns of objects while easily recognizing them by humans. The pigeon's favorite pattern, the one left on my car. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. If you need a random joke for today, here's one. Remember, your Valentine's Day card shows you care enough to send the very best, even though you're too lazy to put in your own words. What else? Phone starter. What's your best sicky excuse? Because all of the things that you could use today post Super Bowl. Think about that. If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. Question. Retailers noticed 20% increase in this sale of this the day after the Super Bowl. What is it? Antacid. Yeah, antacid is the name of the game, because of all the garbage that you probably did enjoy yesterday. Here's another one if you need something that you don't care about related to sporting things. People who do this job see 30% bump in business right around Valentine's Day. What is it? This is not going to be a good answer, but people who do this job see a 30% increase in business right around Valentine's Day. What is it? Unfortunately, it's divorce lawyers. So there you go. I know. I told you it wasn't going to be a good answer. So there you go. That sums it up for us. If you want to hang out on Safety FM, you can do that. Sheldon Primus coming up with the Safety Consultant Show. You can hang out, take a listen to what the hell he has going on. I will be going over to the top of the hour to Radio Big and doing a couple hours of music and stuff. If you want to come and hang out, you're more than welcome on doing that. Would love to see you on either side of the equation. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. A successful marriage requires falling in love many times, always with the same person. Yeah, it doesn't mean go out there and fall in love with multiple people. There you go. So a lot of things going on. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.